Hi there, welcome back to the channel and back out onto the golf course here at Howley Hall Golf Club in Leeds. My name's Ryan Rastor, PGA professional here and equipment expert for Golfshake.com. Today we've got some new shafts, PGW, from the wonderful people at KBS to talk you through. This is a new graphite wood shaft. PGW is Players Graphite Wood. So many of you will have seen some of the content that we've done earlier this year. We had Paul Steels, who's their DP World Tour rep, in. We had a bit of a chat with him. We've done some reviews of different iron shafts as well through the graphite ranges that KBS offer, but these are the first kind of ones that we're doing in the wood category. We've got some more to come later in the year, and there's a brand new shaft going to come out as well, which we can't really talk about yet because it's closely guarded secret. But PGW is, like I say, aimed at a variety of different swing speeds, really. That Players Graphite Wood category, and certainly in the PGI iron, is aimed at lots of different types of golfer. So the technology in here is, you know, as it goes through the flexes, kind of changes a little bit. So we've got probably a little bit more playability in the lighter weight, so all the way from 40 grams up, really. And we've got flexes all the way up to Tour XX. The ones I have today are TX, so Tour X. I have a driver shaft, which I've been able to put in my own driver, so Elite Triple Diamond. Built it exactly the same spec, and it's the same weight at 60 TX. The wonderful people at Wilson have sent us a Dynapower 3 and 5 wood that I could build these shafts into. So in the 3 wood, we've got the 70 TX, and in the 5 wood, the 80 TX in there as well, in these wonderful Dynapower woods. So what we're going to do is have a bit of a look at how these perform out here on the golf course. We're going to chat to you a little bit as we do it about the types of shots that we're hitting and kind of what I would see versus my own, really. You know, I'm used to the flight I'm going to have with a driver and 3 wood. I don't use a 5 wood at the moment. I've got a longer iron in there, but I'd certainly know kind of what to expect with these golf clubs. We're also going to look at the data as well. So we're going to look at some facts. We're going to hit some shots on the Trackman later on, talk a little bit about how each of these perform. I've just hit some shots with the fairway woods inside, haven't hit the driver yet, but I'm also going to compare it against the shaft that's in my driver, because I can just switch that straight out and have a like for like comparison on what this shaft is doing. But for now, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. See loads more content from all of us here at Golfshake to help you play more and play better. Right, let's go hit some of these. I've already had a chance to hit some shots with all 3 of these clubs, with the 3 different PGW shafts inside on the Trackman. Got some data which we'll talk about at the end, but thought we'd get out here on the golf course. We've got a lovely day for it. I'm going to start with the 5 wood, which, reminder, has PGW 80 TX shaft in it, and again, the kind people at Wilson have sent us Dynapower 5 and 3 wood for us to put in these, which are unbelievable fairway woods anyway, which we've done a review of, and you can check that out on the channel too. So let's see what this feels like now we're out here in the wild, and see kind of what we'd expect in terms of the ball flight. So from seeing it inside, I'd expect the flight to be nice and high, easy to get the ball in the air. Yeah, and I think it looks great for starters. I think the kind of colorway that they've got on here looks really good. I love the contrast between the black at the top, white at the bottom. I already use a driver shaft at the moment that's white all the way up, so it kind of suits my eye quite nicely. So let's hit one, hopefully down this par 5 and find the fairway. Yeah, just down the left-hand side, but felt pretty good off the face. Let's just hit another one. Very easy to get the ball in the air, I must say. Nice high flight there, just short of the bunker. See if we can hit one down that right-hand side. Yeah, again, felt really, really good, really solid. Pretty decent shot. Yeah, pretty happy. Right, let's move on to the 3 wood. So now in 3 wood, we have the 70 TX shaft, so a little bit heavier this time. We've kind of gone up 10 grams in all these clubs, from 80 in 5 wood, 70 in 3 wood, and 60 in the driver, which is similar to what I use at the moment as well. Again, let's see what this feels like. Pretty good, down the right-hand side. Nice flight though. Can really feel the shaft kind of kick as it gets down on the downswing a little bit more, which is something I'm not really used to. The shaft that I've got feels a little bit more dead than this. There's definitely a bit more kind of life in it, if you like, when you're hitting it, and you can really feel what the shaft is doing. Yeah, again, felt pretty good, just down the right. Yeah, absolutely fine. But yeah, I mean, this fairway wood, by the way, feels fantastic. But yeah, the shaft feels a little softer than the one I use at the moment, which, you know, just for context, my 3-wood has just the standard Tensai 1K black that comes in the Callaway one. And for me, that just feels really, really solid and stable. This definitely feels different. I feel like I'm having to sort of time it and load it slightly differently on the way down to really time the face properly. So many of you out there who are probably slightly smoother swingers of the golf club than I am. So, you know, I've got quite a quick sort of transition and sort of load the shaft quite heavily on the way down, and that's maybe where I'm losing a little bit of feel with this. Those of you though that are much smoother and slower in terms of your swing speed may well find that this shaft, you know, suits you really nicely. It might help you time it a little bit better if you like. Just fine there in that 3-wood. I'm just kind of having to wait for it a little bit on the way down just to try and time the strike a little bit more. Right, let's try the driver as well then. So I've actually put this driver shaft into my own driver, which is the Elite Triple Diamond Callaway. It's a 60TX. I've made it the same. I've tipped it 1 inch, which is what my driver shaft is, and I've cut it to exactly the same length at 45 inches. So it's exactly the same in terms of the way it's built to mine. So let's have a bit of a hit with this and see what it's like. Felt very good off the face. A little bit down the left there over the bunkers, but yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, that felt quite nice and solid, to be honest. Through the strike, it felt really good. Let's see what this one's like. Yeah, corrected it a little bit straighter. Again, nice ball flight. Pretty much what I'd expect to see with my own driver. The kind of launch window looks very, very similar. Looks a little bit spinnier, the flight maybe. It kind of just climbs a little bit more on me. I mean, we'll see that later when we look at the data, but you know, I might be wrong. I don't know. I've not really looked at it yet, but yeah, it certainly kind of feels a little spinnier off the face. You can feel the shaft kick a little bit more than mine as well, but you know, all in all, I think through the strike, it felt pretty good. Right, let's go see where they are and we'll hit some more off the next tee. So after hitting all of the clubs with all the different shafts in, down 2 holes previous, down 13, yeah, certainly kind of where I'd expect them to be. I mean, I don't normally hit 5-wood off the tee like I said before, but the 3-woods I've hit off there before and drivers kind of in the vicinity of where I'd expect them. Like I say, the shots looked a little bit spinnier, but we're going to hit a few more now on the 15th tee here. Another tee shot where we can kind of open our shoulders a little bit more. This is a long par 4, quite a tough hole really. I'm going to try and hit one down there, just down the right-hand side of the fairway, and hopefully we get a little draw on it as well. But we're going to do it in the other order now. So I'm going to start with driver, then go 3-wood and 5-wood, just to see how they perform. Pretty good, down the right with a little draw. That is going to work out very, very nicely. A little bit low, actually. Don't know whether I just caught it a bit low out the face, but it felt all right. Let's try this one. See if we can hit the same shot, just with a bit more height. Yeah, slightly better. Not quite as much draw on it. Bit more flight and height. Yep, it's on the fairway. Pretty good. Right, let's move down to 3-wood and see how that goes. So let's see where we end up with 3-wood. We're going to try and hit a similar shot just down that right-hand side of the fairway. Hopefully give us a nice line in. Pretty good, a little bit right of where I wanted, but it's okay. It's fine. It's just ran through the fairway, I think, but nice flight. Right, let's try the 5-wood. We'll hit a couple with the 5-wood. Again, can really feel the kind of kick in the shafts a little bit, certainly the 3-wood, and last time I could in the 5-wood. So let's see what that feels like when we hit a few down here. Again, that same shot, just down the right, hopefully. Yeah, lovely high flight, just drawing back to the middle of the fairway. Absolutely fine. Feels really good. I think it would just take a bit of getting used to kind of the feel of the shaft. And once you did, you know, it's taken me, what, 2 holes and a couple of swings, and all of a sudden I'm starting to be able to hit the shapes and the flights that I want with it. So it doesn't take long. It's just a different feel to what I have in mind. Yeah, again, pretty similar to that 3-wood, just pushed it. But it's fine, it's absolutely fine. Let's get up there. So let's take a look at where those 5 shots I've just hit have gone. Remember, 2 with a 5-wood, 1 with a 3-wood, 2 with the driver. So we can see 5-wood, I've just missed the fairway on the right there with, I think that was the second one I hit. The first one, nice little draw, middle of the fairway, just short of the bunkers, ideal shot. The 1 3-wood I hit, just down the right-hand side of the fairway here, we can see, just held on. I thought it just missed the fairway, but it was okay. The 2 drivers, the first one, that one was a bit lower flight and a bit of a slingy kind of draw, You can see it's right in the distance there, it's just on the top of the hill. And the second one, which was a better shot, better flight, a bit straighter, has unfortunately caught this very well placed bunker. But yeah, certainly the kind of shapes and shots that I was trying to hit, I would say with my own driver, most of them are towards where that first one's gone, but I would have expected a slightly higher flight with mine. I don't know why, but those two just seemed quite low. But yeah, I mean, the actual shots where they've ended up pretty good and kind of where I'd expect them to be. So yeah, I'm kind of getting used to these shafts a little bit more now. It's taken a few swings, but after hitting them inside earlier and now outside, actually trying to keep them on the fairway and keep them in play, it's just a case of just timing it and getting the rhythm right a little bit more. So I think, like I said earlier, those of you that have got that kind of smoother rhythm to your golf swing, maybe you're not going to load the shaft too aggressively. The PGW shafts are very good and probably aimed at that type of golfer. We're obviously going to hit some more shots as we go along, but yeah, so far so good. Right, so on this hole we're going to focus on hitting a couple with the driver. After that last hole they're a bit low and a bit kind of right to left, so we're going to see whether we can redeem ourselves on here. Hopefully get one down that right hand side. A bit more like that. That felt really good. Much better height and flight on it as well. Yeah, we'll take that. That's pretty much where we want it. Right, let's hit one more. Like I say, the more that I'm kind of using these shafts and the more that I'm playing with them, the more I'm starting to feel kind of where the club face is a little bit better and be able to kind of time the shots a little bit more as well. Yeah, really good. I mean, that's just bullet straight down the middle of the fairway. Lovely flight on it as well. It's really good. Can't hit it any better than that, really. But yeah, it's certainly starting to feel a little bit nicer, starting to kind of time it a bit better. And the shots I'm hitting are very, very similar to what I would expect with my own. So we're just finally going to try a few with this 5-wood. Again, we've got a fairly tight driving hole here, 17th hole at Howley Hall. Reminder, this 80 TX in this 5-wood. So let's see if we can just pop a couple of these down this fairway. Yeah, just down the right hand side, pretty much ideal position, I think. Just running down there, a little bit low, but see if we can hit a slightly better strike. It was just slightly low out the face, that one. See if we can get a bit more flight on this. Yeah, hell of a lot more. Really high, that one. That's nice. Yeah, really good. Middle of the fairway, exactly where I wanted it to be. Much, much higher flight. Just feels very, very easy to use, to be honest. It's an easy shaft to get in the air. You know, reminder, this is an 80 gram TX, so it's probably heavier than a lot of you would use in this type of golf club, and certainly much stiffer than many of you would, but it just feels like such an easy club to hit, to be honest. So yeah, it's definitely something that if you're a smooth swinger of the golf club, you want that ball just to get in the air a little bit for you. This shaft could be really, really good. And like I say, once you get used to it and get the timing of it, it actually feels really good too. Now that you've seen how these perform out here on the golf course, let's head inside and take a look at that data that we collected on the Trackman earlier. When we look at the data that we collected in the Performance Centre, you can see here that I've hit shots with the 5-wood, the 3-wood, the driver, but then I've also put my driver shaft in and hit some shots with that as well, just to give you a bit of a comparison. We'll start with the fairway wood. So if we look at the 5-wood, we can see just over 4,000 RPM spin on average, 236 carry, 245 total. So yeah, it's fairly kind of what I'd expect. The height's maybe a little higher than what I'd normally hit with that, but you know, the sort of yardage that we're hitting is kind of around that sort of ballpark. When we look at the 3-wood, again, we can see that spin drop. About 500-600 RPM. The carry distance and total distance go up as you would expect with a lower loft and a bit more speed, but certainly in terms of the height of the flight, a bit more under control, I would say, than what we're seeing with 5-wood. So it's, you know, a little bit lower flight, a little bit more penetrating, whereas the 5-wood just kind of pops up in the air really easily and stops quite quickly, which is what we were saying when we were out on the golf course as well. So let's have a bit of a look at the driver. When we look at that KBS PGW shaft, remember that 60 TX that we've got in here, we can see 2,600-ish RPM, and we're kind of getting around that 286 carry, 304 total, with 168 ball speed. So it's kind of a little bit lower than what I'd expect, but to be honest, wasn't swinging it particularly fantastic. You can see swing speed down a little bit on what I'd normally have in many of these review videos if you watch them regularly. Don't know why that is, just one of those days, unfortunately, but at least we can compare one against the other. When we look at mine, you can see the swing speeds are pretty much the same. Carry's pretty much the same, total's a little bit more just because that spin is a little bit lower and I'm getting a bit more ball speed for some reason, I don't know. Like I said to you, I found that when I started using these shafts that it took a few swings and, you know, quite a few swings actually to get the timing right. on them, because they felt so different to my own. The kind of delivery felt different, the way that the club head was coming in felt a bit different. Even the weights felt a bit different, even though they're the same as what I have in mine. It's just obviously these shafts are built in different ways, and sort of certain sections of the shafts are stiffer and weaker than others. So kind of the butt section at the top in the handle and the tip sections feel very, very different to what I'm currently using. So like I say, it just took a little bit of timing to get used to. And I think all in all, like I've said throughout this video, I think these shafts will suit someone who is a smoother swinger of the golf club, someone who's not too aggressive and going to really load that shaft massively on the way down and cause it to kind of be a bit all over the place. I think it really reacts to that nice smooth golf swing. And you know, I think someone as well that maybe wants to get their fairway woods in the air a little easier, so maybe that person who hits it quite low with a 5-wood or a 3-wood, you might find that with these you get a little bit more launch and a bit more height with them, and certainly that's what I've found on the golf course. But all in all, they seem really, really controllable, particularly that 5-wood, easy to hit really nice, high, straight golf shots that find the fairway. So hopefully you've enjoyed that video. It's been great to get out on the course and test these brand new shafts. Thank you to KBS, thank you to Wilson as well for providing these heads for us. But KBS we've done quite a lot of work with over the last 12 months or so. We've got lots more content coming from them as well. We absolutely love all their shafts. It's great to test all these too, and particularly now they're getting into that graphite wood shaft, so that you can now have a KBS shaft all the way through your set. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments section below. We'd love to answer those as well. Keep your eyes peeled for more KBS content coming on the channel, and we'll see you all very soon.